Welcome back to another episode of Rose God Lifestyle. Today we'll be covering branding. Now, I think it'll be more lucrative if we look at branding from a scientific standpoint more so than a social standpoint. And here's why. When you look at branding from a scientific standpoint, you start to see that you can actually target people's emotions. You can actually target people's brain synapses in a way that you get them thinking about your brand all the time, even if they're not active on it. You can get into the subconscious of people when you really look at branding from a scientific, psychological standpoint. Now, when you look at it from a social aspect, you start to create limitations and put barriers on branding based off of your social functionality, which causes a great hindrance. You know what I mean? Because when you look at something like branding, you want to be as limitless and as open-minded as you can be to any idea or concept of branding yourself, okay? So that's why I say it is far more beneficial when you look at branding from a scientific standpoint versus a social standpoint. To dive even further, you can start to create, just like music frequencies, you can start to create euphoric feelings in people. You can start to create feelings of anxiousness in people. You can start to create feelings of nervousness in people, feelings of urgency in people. When you really start to target the chemical responses through branding, then you'll understand how effective branding truly is. Now, as you can see behind me, I have this beautiful poster. As you can see, I have my hat on, and under here, lifestyle polo. Okay? Rose God Lifestyle Polo. I'm branding because I understand it, even if people don't respond and react to it up front. The fact that they keep seeing that, this, and the logo on my chest everywhere that I'm present, they're going to start to associate that logo with me. Now, of course, just like with anything else, there are different niches when it comes to branding. So once you find your niche with branding, then that's when you can start to specialize how you deliver your brand. You could really start to create your own branding style once you really get in tune with your brand on the psychological aspect. Think about the big brands. Think about when your friend is literally sitting right next to you and they may not necessarily have what's being promoted on the market. You see how they react. They have a certain phone and another phone is being promoted, and all of a sudden they're sitting right next to you and they're like, I gotta get that phone. As if they really have to get that phone. They may or may not really have to get that phone, but that's the point I'm trying to prove with branding from a scientific / psychological standpoint, is that you could create those feelings in people by branding and marketing your brand a certain way. But there is a know-how to this. It's not any just random thing that you feel like will work. You have to really study your target audience, study the market that you are in, see how you can implement what naturally comes to you, build upon that, and then push it. Now, when we dive into the mindset of a brander, it's very expensive. There is no type of can't do's inside the mind of a brander. It has to be like that because there's so many opportunities to brand yourself. It's crazy. So to sit there and try to box in and limit what you could think about, doing yourself a disservice, and you're limiting your profitability that way. So even as an entrepreneur, it's very intrinsic to have the mind of a brander. You know what I mean? Because people get paid to brand. So not everybody's a brander. But if you do possess a brander's quality, hone that skill and take it to the next level. Because even if you're not a business owner per se, if you have something going on for yourself that you want the masses to know about, if you know how to brand without a big machine or anything like that, if you know how to brand, you could very much so become a hot commodity. Or you could become well known. Branding is very, very essential when it comes to expanding your brand and expanding the views and the interactions on your content as well. And it also expands your business as well too. Expands the profit of your business by getting more people aware and more people involved in your business. Just keep that in mind, guys, that when we look at branding, it is always to consider the scientific functionality of branding as well, and not just the social. Alright, that is all I have for you today. You already know, it's not just how you live, it's how you lifestyle. See you.